Hello everybody, this is Mark with Pelican Wood, and today we're going to try to make something for sale at a craft fair. Something that'll go relatively quickly and hopefully sell quite well. I recently cut some branches from my pine tree in my backyard, and I want to cut them up into some manageable sized pieces so I can then take them to the bandsaw and make some blanks. When cutting out the sections for your blanks, try to make a relatively square cut so it'll line up with the step driver on your lathe. I'm just going to cut off all the branches and get reasonable sized chunks. Mark the centers, both ends. When doing a project where you want to make multiples of the same item, it's very helpful to do one step at a time to all your pieces, such as cutting them all to the right size, marking all the centers. Now I'm going to go and cut them all out, but I'll also be finishing them in batch. When making the trees, I turn them around first, and then I like to use my skew chisel to get a nice smooth surface that doesn't need much sanding, and use it to mark out the layers where the sections of the tree are. And then we'll switch over to a spindle gouge and make the curved sections for the actual little sections of the tree. I have another video that's a little more detailed about making these trees, so this one is more about doing things in batch. Here's another view from the top of another tree I made. I go through and I do the cutting on all of the blanks, and once that's done, I will take them over to the bandsaw and cut the large base off, and then do the finishing on them. I typically sell these trees for $25 to $35 depending on the venue. Once I get into the swing of things, it usually takes me about a half hour to do a tree, counting all the steps. After I do a bunch of the trees on the lathe, I will take off the large base section and just leave enough for it to stand on. After this, we'll do some finishing. And doing this on the lathe, be extra careful. Round things on, not the lathe, on the bandsaw. Round things on the bandsaw can tend to fly out of control, so make sure you're doing this extra cautiously, or if you don't trust yourself, make yourself a jig. Grind off the little nub off the end. Sanding or a chisel will work as well. Sand the little point on the end. Once again, working in batch, do all the steps that you can with all the trees at the same time. Normally I'd apply this with a cloth if I was only doing 1 or 2 trees, but with the number of trees I'm doing, the brush just is the fastest. I'm using Danish oil. After I let it sit for a few minutes while I do the rest of the trees, I work my way back through the trees with the cloth and wipe off the excess, and they are basically done at this point. Overall, I did 16 trees, and when I was done, my shop looked like it had snowed. Thanks for watching. See you next time.